Welcome, everyone. We are delighted to have you with us today on the session From Lessons Learned to Capability Intelligence, Building Collaborative Learning Communities for Superior Project Outcomes, with Dr. James Mbakpuo. I hope I pronounced that correct.
That's right.
Thank you for joining. It's always a pleasure to see, as I said, familiar names and faces. People are joining from different countries, industries, and professional backgrounds. Today's topic touches on a challenge that many of us project professionals encounter despite capturing lessons learned. And that's something that we typically do after every project. Unfortunately, organizations often continue to repeat the same mistakes. On this webinar, we will explore how knowledge can be transformed into organizational capability and sustainable project success. Before we begin, however, I would like to briefly walk you through today's agenda, talk about the suggested conduct, introduce you a little bit about with the German chapter, what did we do in the local group Darmstadt, etc. And then we can introduce the speaker and we can start with the topic. I will try to finish until 6:10 when Dr. James will take over with his presentation. We will have 60 minutes to cover the topic, and then we have 10 minutes for questions and answers. At the last 10 minutes, we want to spend them for you to rate this event, the information that we want to share with you about the upcoming event, so you can register timely, and we'll share the PDU as always we do. The suggested conduct for our sessions is that you stay with your muted microphones unless you want to participate in the conversation during the questions and answers, or you want to raise your hand to be accepted to speak throughout the presentation. Please, I invite you to use your, please stay muted, and I would invite you to use your full name when you're logging into this event so we can match your names again against the PDUs. And do feel free to turn on your video because we would like to see your names and faces. Use your chat window to post questions, but also to share your LinkedIn account if you want to establish networking. And feel free to reach out to the speaker after the session to continue the conversation. Please note that this session is recorded and any other AI bots are strictly prohibited and they'll be removed from the chat from me, myself, Thomas, or Florian, who is on the call, part of local group Darmstadt. It was founded in 2020 through the merger of former chapters. Our chapter now spans 5 regions and has more than 25 groups. We are very proud to represent a dynamic community of over 11,000 PMI members who are from Germany, PMI members, out of 43 different countries, and more than 6,000 of those are members of the chapter of Germany. Our work is provided by a dedicated team of over 150 volunteers who bring energy, expertise, and passion to everything that we do here. Together, we are committed to supporting the project management profession. And one of the tasks that we are doing and showing up how we're supporting the growth of the profession is by organizing these webinars. What we do specifically in local group Darmstadt, we are the only English-speaking community. We are 8 volunteers from 7 different countries. We had over 3,800 participants since the inception of this local group. And on average, 35 attendees on our sessions. 110 attendees participated over 10 times, and we count them. We organize and we strive forward to organize 2 online English-speaking webinars per month and 1 face-to-face roundtable that is organized in Darmstadt area. Our current local LinkedIn group counts more than 500 members, and you're always welcome to join. Now, let's turn the focus to our today's speaker and the topic why we are here. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today's session, that Thomas himself brought it here, and we are very pleased to have Dr. James Mbakpuo. Mbakpuo. It is honor to have you. And during our dry run, we also made sure, I wanted to make sure that I'm pronouncing your name correctly, because we're all diverse and the German chapter is very diverse, and we have to be respectful for the names of people. And one of my responsibilities is to carry that lineage or the origins where you're coming from by at least trying to pronounce your name. Dr. Mbakpuo is an academic, author, business management consultant, and economic development strategist with interdisciplinary expertise spanning project management, strategy, as Thomas earlier mentioned, economics, innovation, and sustainable development. Throughout his career, he has worked at the intersection of academia, consulting, leadership, and organizational transformation, helping organizations strengthen performance, build capabilities, and navigate change. In addition to his work as a consultant and advisor, Dr. Mbakpuo serves as a lecturer at several higher education institutions, where he teaches subjects including strategic management, project management, entrepreneurship, innovation management, and digital business. He's also an international keynote speaker, contributing to leadership development and professional growth across diverse industries and communities. As a certified Six Sigma Master Black Belt researcher and thought leader, he combines academic rigor with practical application. His work focuses on operational excellence, organizational learning knowledge-driven growth, and helping organizational transformation by also bringing his expertise in transforming sustainable competitive advantage. Today, he will introduce us to a fresh perspective through his capability intelligence framework and challenge us to think beyond simply capturing lessons learned. Instead, he will explore how project knowledge can be transformed into organizational capability, enabling better decision, continuous improvement, and superior project outcomes. Please join me in welcoming Dr. James Mbakpuo, and he presents from lessons learned to capability intelligence, building collaborative learning communities for superior project outcomes. James, the stage is yours. I will stop presenting now. You can take over. And I will also, you will have to unmute yourself because I lost that possibility on my end. And I hope I did justice to the expertise that you're bringing by introducing you correctly. Just see if I missed something. If this is not the right version of presentation, this is the yellow type presentation.
Oh, sorry. No, this is not it.
Yes.
Sorry.
You can just stop presenting and pull the right file.
Sorry, guys. I think I'm having a little bit challenge with my.
We have time. Do not worry.
Just give me. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. And is that bold enough?
Yes, we see it perfectly.
Okay, thank you. So, and my voice is clear? And my voice is clear? Okay, thank you. Marit, I think you did a, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to introduce myself again. You've done, I'm speechless, but I still have to briefly introduce myself. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I'm James Mbakpuo. I'm from Nigeria, living in Poland. And over the next hour, I want to challenge the way we think about project management today. This is a recap of best practice, and it is to challenge us, and it isn't another list of lessons learned. It's a new framework. And here is the uncomfortable truth which I want us to sit with from the very start. Knowing more has not made us deliver better. And once we come to this realization that if with all what we know, we have not been able to deliver better, that means something is definitely not right. So we have enough information, but there is a problem down the road. Why are we still having issues with failure after lessons learned? That's the question. So we have to now move a little bit from that mind frame. We have more frameworks, more data, more documentation than ever before, and yet our projects don't perform any better for it. So what is the problem? There is definitely a fundamental problem. So today I want to introduce a different lens, one I call capability intelligence. And I want to show you how organizations actually convert what they know into what they can repeatedly do. That's where the question comes in. What can we do repeatedly? So as we dive down, we will be looking at, unpacking what capability intelligence is all about. Why not lessons learned? So I'll move you to the next slide. And so projects don't fail because organizations don't learn. No, they fail because organizations cannot convert learning into capability. So let me give you a single idea that everything else today will rest on. So if we would now agree with me that projects don't fail because organizations do not learn, they fail because organizations cannot convert that learning into capability. So sit with that for a moment. Your organization is learning all the time. There is no organization that is not learning. Every month they go for special courses, lessons learned, lessons learned, lessons learned. Every project generates insight. Every retrospective produces findings. But is that the learning? There is something not making up there. Is it that the learning never becomes the ability to execute? So we learn, but execution is not there. Why do projects keep failing? So many businesses are failing, startups are failing, projects are repeating the same mistakes. What is the problem? So if you remember one sentence from this talk, let it be that one. Everything that will follow today is simply me unpacking how that conversation works, or how that conversion works, and why it is so often doesn't. Why it doesn't work. If you talk of documentation, I don't think there is any country in the world that does not have shining, brilliant documentations of lessons they have learned over the past 40 years, even from the least developed countries. But what happened? Why are they not developing? Why are they not sustainable? Because there is a fundamental problem. It's not all about lessons learned. It's not all about knowledge. It's about capability intelligence. And so we will look at what capability intelligence is all about in the next slide. Sorry. It seems my Slide is frozen. Okay, so you will agree with me that organizations do not have a problem with knowledge. No single organization, no single country, no single state, no single system basically has problem in today's world with knowledge. It's everywhere. They have a capability problem. So let's name the problem precisely. Because if we do not call it what it is, we will keep spending money every year, spending thousands and hundreds of thousands, training people, going for lessons learned programs, this one, updating, and still the problem is still there. So most leaders assume they have a knowledge problem. There is no knowledge problem. So they respond by collecting more and more of knowledge. So for more than 40 years, our professions has poured its energy into exactly that. Lessons learned, best practices, knowledge management, communities of practice, project management offices, retrospectives, and you ask yourself, what have they produced? Why do we still have a lot of companies failing with all this bunch of knowledge? So because all of this is built on belief that if we just capture enough, performance will follow. No, it doesn't follow. But I want to suggest the diagnosis is absolutely wrong. You do not have knowledge problem. We do not have knowledge problem. What you have is capability intelligence problem. The issue was never how much you know. It's whether you can turn that knowing into doing. As a result, if I give you an example of Nigeria, you will see that some people, when I was in Russia, they will ask me sometimes, why is Nigeria still with all the oil, with all this, with all that? I said, we copied some of the best democracies in the world. Shining from Britain to America, 1960, we have some of the best constitutions in the world, but still nothing works out. Every year they are going for collecting more information, more knowledge, best practice in this one, but we never get it right because there is a capability problem. Not anything you can think of. When I tell them in Russia, they said, are you sure? I said, yes. And they asked me, but what is the problem? I keep smiling because they will not understand. Now, we will unpack why it doesn't work, why we have the dimension has shifted, and we have to look at not just for the developing countries or small organizations, but for every sector, from micro to macro. We repeat the same mistakes over and over. After 4 decades of all the investment, the results have barely moved. The same results. We should have moved further than where we are today in every aspect of life. If capability was in place fully, we repeat over and over, projects still exceed their budget, digital transformation still fail at alarming rate. You hear AI, you just hear the few that are succeeding. Go do your independent findings, you discover that many AI are still failing. Many industries are failing every day. There is a lot of sink cost effect in this IT industry that we don't even know. We hear the few that succeed. Why do they have all this knowledge, wealth of ocean of knowledge, but still struggle, keep failing? Our knowledge repositories keep growing larger and larger. Go to where the libraries, there is nothing you will not find there. And yet project success barely improves. What is the problem? So just sit with that contradiction. There is a problem somewhere now. We have documented more than any generation before us. And delivery has not even made any meaningful change. Why? More documentation has simply not produced better delivery in every sector. So that tells us there is a real problem. The real problem lies somewhere our current tools aren't even looking. So we need to shift our tools. We need to look for somewhere else to find where is the gap. There is a big gap. That's why most ministries are still suffering. Whether you go to immigration sector, whether in Europe, the broken immigration system, whether in Africa, the abject poverty taking place, whether in Asia, these problems could have been solved if there was capability intelligence in place, not lessons learned. So make no mistake, knowledge is not capability. That you have knowledge does not mean that you have capability. Knowing more does not mean an organization can do more. There are so many organizations that know so much. So why? Why does more knowledge not translate into better outcomes? That's the question. The answer is simple. Once you see it, you can't unsee it again. Knowledge is not capability. No. Knowing more does not mean an organization can do more. No way. A library full of insight is not the same as the ability to act on it under pressure consistently across teams. So I want you to hold on to that distinction because it's the hang of everything I'm going to talk about or show you today. So knowledge and capability are not the same. And confusing the two is exactly why so many of us stay stuck. So you begin to ask, do you have the ability, the capability, not knowledge? That's why when you go to Africa, we have a lot of graduates there, but they don't produce what we want. Knowledge without skills, knowledge without adaptability. That's the problem. It's not just across Africa, but across the globe, even developed economies, advanced economies. But I'm using Africa as a case study. We don't have any problem with knowledge. We got from some of the best from UK. If you're not British colony, you're from France, and the same, almost the same curriculum. So what is the problem? So there is a capability problem. And that will take us to capability intelligent theory. Just like as we move from the age of computer literacy to AI, we are not longer talking about best practices and lessons learned. We are talking about capability intelligence. Just like we did not, the world moved from IQ to emotional intelligence. So in management, this is where the paradigm is shifting. So which brings me to the heart of today's webinar, the capability intelligent theory, learning as a predictor of future execution capability. So I define it as the organizational ability to continuously convert knowledge into repeatable execution capability, faster than environmental change. You don't need to wait for the catastrophe to happen. The way to make Domesday's prophecy self-fulfilling is to ignore the signs of dangers that truly lies ahead and passively depends on faith. Those passive courses in faith in life are not only detrimental, but they are catastrophic. So let me sit on a few of those words. Repeatable execution capability. Not a one-time of success. We don't need that. But something you can do again and again, and faster than environmental change. Because if the world shifts more quickly than you can build capability, you are always behind. That's why most African countries are behind. because they have not put on that mantle, for example, using it as a case study, of capability, building all ministries, building all organizations to adapt to the change. So notice what actually changed in that definition. If you look at that definition, something is changing there. That is the lens I will be using for the rest of this talk. So we need to change the way we look at resilience or whatever, lessons learned. We keep hearing lessons learned. You go to every project, lessons learned, documented, and yet they still make the same mistake. So that takes us to the next chapter as we unpack this capability intelligence theory, the hidden gap nobody talks about. So when you look, it's all about experience in project management, knowledge, lessons learned, better project. That's always the assumption, but that's totally wrong. So let me expose an assumption that almost every organization makes without even realizing it. So we believe there is a neat chain that runs automatically. No, there is no neat chain that runs automatically, because too much lessons have been learned from Africa to Asia, from Asia to South America, to America, and to Europe. But why do we still repeat? Why do we still fail time and again with all the lessons learned? So experience leads to knowledge, according to them. Knowledge leads to lessons learned, and lessons learned leads to better projects. That's the assumption. It looks obvious. It looks like it should simply work, but it doesn't work. I want to say it's wrong. That final link, the leap from documentation to better project, is an assumption, not a fact. It's not a fact. Nothing guarantees that writing something down actually changes what people do. We all write, make 1st January, everybody's writing, I will do this, I will do that. But do you have the capability to carry that through? No way, for example. So, and once you accept that the chain has a broken link, the real question becomes, what has to happen in between? In between lessons learned and capability. That takes us to the next. I hope we are seeing the link. There is a gap there. There is a gap. The real process should be knowledge. Experience leads to knowledge, and knowledge leads to collective interpretation. Not just few departments, teams learning, discussing about whatever they learn, but there should be collective interpretation, behavior change, capability, and that leads to project performance. So here is what actually happened between knowledge and project performance. These 4 stages is what organizations routinely skip. So experience becomes knowledge. That part we tend to do well, but then knowledge has to move through collective interpretation, behavioral change, and capability before it ever reaches performance. These 4 links or stages are where learning is genuinely converted into ability to execute. And here's the problem. Most organizations stops right after documentation. When they document the lessons learned, they leave it there. They put it in their archives and keep it there. They capture the knowledge and assume the rest takes care of itself. It doesn't. Because those middle stage never happens. Capability never forms. This is the exact point where the conversion either succeed or quietly fails. Again, the way to make doomsday prophecies Self-fulfilling is to ignore the signs of danger that truly lies ahead and passively depends on faith. Those passive courses are not only detrimental, but catastrophic. That's why we keep getting fail and fail and failed projects every now and then, fail and fail and failed projects. And then you ask yourself, what's going on? So there is a gap here. When you look at your the slide, you can see stored information and there is a gap, repeatable execution. So for you to achieve repeatable execution, that gap needs to be filled properly. And that's where many organizations, many nations get it wrong. I call that breakdown the capability conversion gap. The gap you see here is the capability conversion gap. It's the distance between what an organization knows and what it can repeatedly execute. On one side, you have what we know stored information, sit in our system and our documentation. On the other side, what we can do, repeatable execution. And between them lies the gap that almost nobody measures. Look at it. I mean, we hear from any ministry you can talk. We think of any ministry, think of any organization. They have so many gaps, repeated, unsustainable system, yet they are documenting lessons learned in every situation. So let me put it in terms on a board where you will understand. Companies don't lose money because they don't know. No, they lose money because they cannot operationalize what they know. Organizations do not lose money or do not achieve what they want to achieve because they do not operationalize what they know. The knowledge is already there. The failure is the conversion rate, the conversion factor. And that's where capability conversion gap comes in. So why lessons learned fail? Why does it fail? NASA has problem, for example. We've seen it all over. Microsoft have their own challenge. Even PMI. I will make it concrete. The PMI itself, every one of these organizations produce thousands upon thousands of lessons learned, captured by some of the best people in the world. So here's the question I want to ask you. If documentation actually solves project problems, why do identical failure occurs year after year? Even in places like this, even in places like PMI, Microsoft, Airbus, Siemens, the answer sits in the contrast. Documentation stores information, capability change behavior. Those are not the same activity, and no amount of the first ever will automatically produce the second. No way. We need to change our mindset. So what's the alternative? The alternative is this. I want to introduce the capability intelligence circle, where lessons learned asks you to look back at what already happened. This circle moves forward, not backward. We're not going backward. Through the 6 steps, you observe, you interpret, you validate, you operationalize, you scale, and you finally make prediction. So the goal isn't to react well, it's to anticipate the capability you will need before you need it. You are already prepared, you already know what will happen tomorrow. You don't need to panic because you have all the capability. That's the fundamental shift we need to change. Traditional project management looks backward, mining the past for explanation. Capability intelligence looks forward, building the ability to execute what's coming next. That's where we need to change the way we look at things. So this is the new circle we need to follow, from looking back to looking ahead. And this change everything about the question we ask. The old thinking after every project, ask, what did we learn? That's what you always hear. What did we learn? It's a backward looking question. Focus on reflection. The new thinking asks something quite different. What future capability have we created? When you read those two questions side by side and feel the shift, one treats a project as a source of lesson to file away. The other treats it as an opportunity to build something the organization can keep using again and again. So we are moving from reflection to creation, from harvesting the past to manufacturing the future. Where we talk of sustainable development, you have all heard about Sustainable Development Agenda 2030, which was a shining document prepared in New York, I think 2015. We have 4 more years to go, if I'm not mistaken, 4 more years to go. That agenda, United Nations Agenda 2030, has not been achieved even 20% out of 100. Far, because there is, even with all the shining documents, there is a link, there is a gap, there is a capability problem. 4 years to go, we cannot achieve 20% of Agenda 2030. That brings me to the 5 levels of organizational learning. To see where you stand, it will help you to think in levels. At level 1, we talk about information. We collect the data. At level 2, we talk about knowledge. We understand what happened. At level 3, learning. We know why it happened. At level 4, capability. We can consistently do it. Consistently do it. And at level 5, capability, intelligent, develop. So when you develop capability intelligence, we predict the capability we will need before our project even required to start. So most organizations live somewhere between level 1 and level 3. So I want you to spend most of your attention on level 5, because that's the destination we're headed now. We're talking of AI. Some people are still thinking it's a joke. Capability intelligence has come to stay. So ask yourself honestly, where does my organization actually sit on this ladder today? And once you answer that question, you will be able to tell yourself truly where your organization, are they working on lessons learned, or they are building capability intelligence framework. So now let's address the question. That's one on everybody's mind today. I know we all talk about artificial intelligence. The common assumption, AI is coming to replace project managers. No, I want to be direct with you. That's totally wrong. AI is not coming to take the jobs away. What AI will replace is specific set of tasks. Searching, you can use AI to do better. Reporting, you can use AI to do better. Scheduling, you can. And documentation. And honestly, it should be. There is no two ways. AI has come to stay. Capability intelligence has come to stay. No two ways. These are the repetitive mechanical parts of jobs. The ones that consumes our time without ever using our judgment. So why not leave it for AI to do? Letting AI take them is not a threat. Don't be scared of AI. No way. Don't be scared. It only makes you work smarter, intelligently, and efficiently if you know how to use AI. So it's a relief to you and I. But notice what's missing from that list, because that's where the real story begins again. There's something missing there, and I will show you. So the human core of capability. Because there is a human core that AI simply cannot replace. Make no mistake in your quest. AI will never replace humans in everything. Impossible. It can replace collective judgment. It cannot replace trust. It cannot replace leadership, strategic collaboration, or the work of building capability in other people. No way. AI cannot take those jobs. Never. These are profoundly human capacities, and they are exactly where our value is heading. So here's the conclusion I draw from all that. The future project management office stops, it doesn't stop where you you do governance center, checking compliance, policing processes. We are moving from that era. We are entering into capability intelligence center. That's what you should be building right now. A place that actively builds the organization's ability to execute. That's a far more ambitious and a far more human mandate we should be looking at. So future PMOs become capability intelligence centers, not governance. That's what we see. Now, that takes me to the CIF. What does it mean? CIF model, capability intelligence framework. Let me give you a practical framework to take home. The CFI model, capability intelligence framework, is the way to go right now. The C, which stands for collective learning. We need to learn together. You don't need to put the manager is there getting the lessons learned, and then the other people in the organizations do not understand truly what is going on. We need collective learning. Relearning happens across teams, not locked away inside individual departments. No, that chapter closed. The I stands for intelligence. Intelligence analytics, using AI across your projects. HRO, operational learning and risk data, to predict capability gaps before they even bite you. And the F stands for future capability design. Instead of endless fixing yesterday's problem, you design tomorrow's workforce, collective, intelligent, and future focus. That is the shape of an organization that can genuinely convert knowledge into capability. Once any country key into this, you will stay sustainable in every sector. Sustainable, not lessons learned and then tomorrow again lessons learned, next tomorrow lessons learned. Once you build capability intelligence, you are good to go. So the CIF formula framework is where we should all focus. This will also force us to change what we measure. Today we count activities, training hours, number of courses, certificates, and knowledge assessment passed. All of it measures effort, and none of it measures outcome. That's the truth. So I want to propose a new metric, capability velocity. It is the speed at which an organization converts learning into measurable project performance. So we can move away from these lessons learned. Every year we are documenting, storing information, and yet nothing is changing, making the same mistakes. Africa is still there. Lessons learned, yet there is no light. Lessons learned, there is no this, there is no that, but yet they have all the shining document. We should move away from that era. Even in developed countries, broken systems, broken ministries, broken organizations. So think about how powerful that is as a KPI, capability velocity. To be a KPI, you should be looking at. Executive instantly understood speed. Board member instantly understood return on investment. And yet, right now, almost nobody measures capability velocity at all. That's not a gap to fear. It is an open opportunity for whosoever chooses to move first. Key in there. And that changes the whole thing. So let me distill all this into a single equation. Capability equals knowledge times collaboration times application times adaptability. And the most important thing is on the slide is the multiplication. When you look at the slide, you see multiplication. It's not addition. So if one of those variables drops to 0, the entire result is 0. Brilliant knowledge without collaboration, what is it? 0. Brilliant knowledge, no collaboration, 0. It only takes one mistake, one missing factor to collapse the whole thing, which brings us right back to the true line of this talk. Knowledge alone never creates capability. It's only one factor in a product, and on its own, it simply cannot carry the rest. So we must make sure that everything is synchronized properly. Now, for what I think is the most provocative idea in this whole talk. For years, we have championed communities of practice, groups of people coming together to share knowledge, and I want to suggest, as gentle as I can, that they are now outdated, totally outdated. The difference is everything. In a community of practice, people share knowledge. In a community of capability, people build future organizational performance. One is about exchange, the other is about creation. So I will invite you to look hard at your own internal communities and ask honestly which of these two they are really doing. Go back to your countries, to your organizations, to your community, make that findings, and you'll see why we keep repeating over and over. So all of this reshapes the role itself. Picture the project manager of, for example, 2035. Just think about project manager of 2035. They are no longer primarily a planner, scheduler, or risk controller. No way, because those tasks are steadily being automated right away. So what are they supposed to be? So I believe they can become capability architect. So if they became capability architect, designers of organizational intelligence, their job is no longer to administer a single project, but to build the systems, the people, and the capabilities that allow people to allow many projects to succeed and people to succeed. Once that is done, you will see a change in Asia, you will see a change in Africa, you see a change in South America, and even in America, even here in Europe. There is so many broken systems here in the ministries, in different organizations, because of lack of capability intelligence. That is not a diminished role. It is far larger and far more strategic one. And it is the direction our entire profession is heading. Whether you like it or not, we are moving there. Just like the days of computer, people thought, oh, we do it manually, we continue doing it manually. Computer came to stay and people were thinking, but the reality faces us. Same with AI today. And same with capability intelligence. It's not about lessons learned. So let me bring the whole journey together as a pyramid. At the base seat, knowledge, we know. Above it, learning capability, we improve. Above that, execution capability, we consistently deliver. Higher still, adaptive capability. We can rapidly change. That's where we should be heading. And at the very summit, predictive capability. Can we predict tomorrow, next tomorrow, 10 years to come, 20 years to come? We know what capability will be needed next once we know this. So each level rests on one beneath. You cannot predict if you cannot yet execute. They climb from simply knowing at the bottom to anticipating at the top is the entire part I have been describing today. The real question is how far up that pyramid your organization has actually traveled. Ask yourself. Your community, your country, your ministry. If any of you work in the ministry here, ask yourself this question. So on that note, I want to slow right down for this because it sits at the very heart of what I believe. In the years ahead, organizations will not compete on who knows more. The chapter is coming to an end. That's why you see even people who are not even educated as you and I, secondary school boys and girls are creating apps and working with AI smarter than people who have PhD, master degrees and bunch of degrees. We are moving out of that era. Make no mistake. They will compete on who learn faster. They move more faster than us. You see people with degrees who convert that learning into capability quicker and who can predict the capability they will need before disruption even arrive. Small boys and girls are doing it right there, ain't even in silicon. So knowledge is becoming a commodity. Everyone has access to it now. Anything you want, you can get it on AI. Type anything, you get it. You don't need any, just type, you get it. So it's a commodity. So the advantage belongs to the organizations that can move from knowing to doing at speed. That at more than anything else, it is competitive frontier of the next decade. The speed of moving. So let me leave you with this. As simple as I put it, the future of project management is no longer lessons learned. End of discussion. It is about capability intelligence. We have spent 40 good years becoming very good at capturing the past. The next era will belong to those who can convert what they know into what they can repeatedly do and who can see the capability they will need before the need even arrive or arise. That is the shift. And it begins the moment you decide to stop merely documenting and start building capability. Thank you. And I'm out. I'm ready to take your questions. If you have any question for me, please. And with that, I've opened the floor. I'm genuinely keen to hear your questions, your challenges, and your own experience with all of it. And it will help to get us started. So if you have a question, throw it and let's look at it within the 10 minutes.
There's several comments I see on the chat.
Okay.
Let me just go through them. Robert says, I love the quote, execution's two best friends are simplicity and transparency.
Okay.
Robert, do you want to join the conversation and talk about the rhythm, the hype that you're mentioning in the chat? Krishna is also agreeing with you, says absolutely correct. AI is for helping our day-to-day tasks.
Okay.
Robert also is adding that he loves the distinction between governance and discipline. I also love distinction between, he loves the distinction between trust and its predecessor prerequisite called trustworthiness.
That's right. That's right, Robert. That's why we have a lot of broken systems all over in almost all the ministries. Just look carefully. There is a capability gap. Whereas they keep talking about lessons learned. Look at from any angle you want to look at it. What should have been fixed and we move perfectly? Is it in the immigration section? I don't want to go into that. That is a whole encyclopedia. You see simple thing that's supposed to be done and keep everybody moving. We keep playing with it. We keep documenting. Oh, this one happened. Show me one ministry where there is no capability intelligence problem. Robert, thanks for that.
Salih is also, Ahmed Salih is amazed by the presentation. Shawat Krishna is saying really wonderful presentation. Yes, we're going to share the PDF from this presentation along with the link of the recording once it's available. And Vishal, it says, it seems one has to move fast, build fast, but as per my understanding, servant leadership is needed more, where you forward others first and then one can push together. What is your take on this?
Sorry, come back. It's what was the question? Okay, that's Vishal, right?
Yes, the last comment.
It seems one has to move fast. Okay, build fast, but as per my understanding, servant leadership is needed more, where you forward orders first and then one can push together. No, Vishna, you are right, but in the context, what we're looking now is moving together. It's not you going first, because by the time you are going first and then coming to pick orders, a lot of things must have damaged. We need to work together, move together, build together. Not going first to build and then you come and pick people. Yes, that to some extent it may work, but capability intelligence is all about building people from the very scratch, from the very onset, taking them along, carrying them along, learning together, working together, and moving ahead. Then you are building a sustainable system. It doesn't stop you from being a servant leadership. Doing that makes you a reputable and a distinguished servant leadership, carrying everybody along and not you going first and then coming behind to pick. So I hope that opens your mind. And then the next one, Carla.
Vishal, feel free to join the conversation if you have anything to add to this. We can make a small forum if you like.
That's fine. If you want to form a forum, you guys can.
Kalaf as well, until Vishal decides if he's satisfied with the answer, if he doesn't have anything to, if it was clear, we can go to Kalaf. Kalaf Ahmed says, thanks for the great presentation. I have a few questions. How do you define a capability for a cross-functional corporation? That's the first question.
Okay.
Out of 3.
You want to read them out all? Or you
yes.
Want one by one?
Yeah. Yes. No, I can read all and you can tell me how do you want to cover them. How do you define a capability for a cross-functional corporation? Then how do you measure that a capability was created and is repeatable? And how do you fund and allocate bandwidth to COCs? And unfortunately, he says, organizations barely have enough people to execute what they know the way they know it.
Good, Khaled. I wish we have all the time to take all these questions, but I will take it one by one. I'll try to see how I can. Your first question is, how do we define capability? Mm-hmm. Capability.
For a cross-functional corporation.
For a cross-functional corporation. In fact, if there is any time capability is needed, it is in cross-functional situation, cross-functional cooperation, where you share information. You don't know how much companies are failing because of systemic failure, lack of sharing adequate information, educating or sharing what is needed to make sure that they succeed. You're working as a team. Why are you working as a team? To succeed, isn't it? You work as a cross-functional organization. Have you not seen where somebody is even bringing you to onboard you, but yet is not ready to give you all the information? For example, in HR, they give you haphazard information, allow you to fail, allow you to make mistakes, so that they'll shift their blame on you. Yet they are boarding you in a cross-functional work, and then people are hiding certain informations that are necessary to make that project work smoothly, and instead of looking for someone to shift blame. So if there is anywhere capability is needed, it is in cross-functional cooperation, where you share adequately every detail, every information that is needed for that project to strive, succeed within budget, and be sustainable. We are in the age of sustainability. And your second question, I will not go. We can talk about number one, even for the whole. It's an encyclopedia. How do you measure that a capability was created and is repeated?
Yeah.
Once you are able to do something before it happens tomorrow, you have already prepared all the necessary, not just documenting risk, not just documenting this one, lessons learned. Whatever you can repeat automatically over and over before it even happened, you have already prepared it. You know what you have prepared plans for the next 1 or 2 years in looking at things from all angles, carefully looking at things in context. You already prepare for it before it happened. The capabilities are already there. I'm not asking you of lessons learned. I'm asking you, do you have the capability to do this job, to do this project? That's the question I'll be asking people now. Not do you have the knowledge and experience? No, do you have the capability? So once you hear capability, it's talking about repeating something over and over and making sure that you get the best result with the best budget and time frame, and making sure that it is sustainable. And you even predict what will happen in the future. Well, Mohammed, Khalif, I hope that helps answer 2 of your questions. The last one, I can't get you. Can you come back there? And I see another person, Erico. How does capability intelligence align with Carnegie? Oh, that's another one. Do I take all this?
A Carnegie Mellon capability maturity model integration, how that does align with the capability intelligence?
It does. It does. It does. When you look at capability, mainly it's talking about predictions. The key here is prediction. Can you make predictions of what will happen right now and what will happen tomorrow and next tomorrow? Do you have the predictions? Do you have a sustainable system that you foresee things before they happen? You plan for things before they happen. Now, Carnegie, what is Carnegie's theory? What is it all about? I know it's a long one. I will take it a little bit by bit. What is its theory all about? So when you look at capability intelligence with Carnegie's, they all interconnect, but the linking, the mix here is it predictable? Is it sustainable? If it is not sustainable, if you cannot predict the future of what will happen before it happens, that is not capability. If it is based on lessons learned, that is not capability. We are not talking about lessons learned. Lessons learned is what landed us to where we are today. Capability is ability, like I will put it this way, the way to make doomsday prophecies, again, self-fulfilling, is to ignore the signs of dangers that lies ahead. And then you passively depends on faith based that I've learned something, we have documented what we have learned, and then it happens again. Yet what you have learned, documented, could not help you to solve that problem. But yet you documented it. You kept it in shining files. Do you have the capability intelligence there? You do not have capability intelligence, because you cannot produce, you cannot reproduce, you cannot repeat that very event successfully without having the same problem. And when you look at all the ministries, we have the same problem. Most organizations are suffering this problem.
Like Shashwat, yeah. Like Shashwat is saying that lessons learned is like silo repository, but converting that knowledge in experience continuously, known as capability intelligence. And if we retrospectively use that knowledge, becomes capability intelligence, and
Excellent.
Organization got success.
Excellent. That's who's Shashwat, Krishna. That's a beautiful one. You nail it there. That's just what it is. Ability to repeat, ability to predict, so that doomsday prophecies do not fulfill. But we see it happening all over, even in Europe here, even in advanced democracies, advanced civilizations, it still repeats itself. So what is the problem? Is it that they don't have the lessons? They have not learned the lessons? They have learned the lessons. Look at us now. Okay, for example, we are still talking about, look at the problem in just by our neighbor here. I don't want to go there, Polish and Russia and Ukraine, and it's less than 100 years we just came out from Second World War, and here we are. Where is it? What have we learned? Lessons learned. Where is the lessons learned? Where is capability intelligence here? Where is the capability intelligence? And so forth and so on. What is it?
Apologies.
Okay, Mari, go ahead, because I can't really
Sun is also asking, how do we manage capability intelligence in the current era where partnerships for project execution are inevitable?
Okay, how do we manage capability intelligence in the current era where partnerships are inevitable? There is no other time in human history where we need capability intelligence than now. Son, we need it more than now. In business, in partnership, we need it. Because if you do not have the capability in partnership, then the business you are even going into, you are risking it there. Because if your partner is not capable of executing, then it will not be sustainable. It's all about sustainability, ability to stay sustainable. You must make sure that the new norm is like asking somebody, oh, can you use computer? I'll work with you, but do you know how to use computer? I'll work with you if you have the capability intelligence, so that our partnership can work together.
Yeah, and I think that also Rachel, I'm not sure about the first name, Chiwara,
yes.
Thank you for the great presentation. I have been seeing in the media where there's a lot of commentary on how AI is moving and growing at tremendous speed, but country regulations lagging behind, probably because from the bureaucracy linked to all the knowledge gathering. From this presentation, it's clear that capability intelligence, not just a need, it's not just a need, but more of an urgent security issue, not for organizations, but at national and global level.
You can say it again, Chiwara. You can nail it. You can repeat it again and again. That is the era we have. The paradigms have shifted. Make no mistake. Go back. You have just nailed it there. That is what. Ask yourself, why are countries failing, even with all the wealth of knowledge they have, with all the professors emeritus they have, but yet there is still failure in almost every ministry you look at. From developing countries to advanced democracies or advanced nations, technologically advanced nations. What is the problem? Capability problem. That's where the problem lies. Chiwara, that's good. We can talk about this topic for the whole day. Yeah. We can talk about this for the whole day. So we should go back and start trying to see how we help our communities, our organizations, wherever you work, to start introducing capability intelligence. It's very needed, more than any other time in human history than is now.
Yes, I think this is a good place where we can wrap the conversation. I want to say how you challenged us thinking towards the direction of, I cannot even think how many times we had the retrospective lessons learned sessions and we had repositories of lessons learned, but we are not using them. We don't create actions out of them. We're not using them smartly. And this was a very good lesson for me. I believe that majority, or if not everyone, will agree that this was a very valuable session. Thank you very much, James, for bringing this to our attention and making it alarming for us to understand that it's not only needed for project execution, but also, as Chiwara is saying, that it's needed for urgent security issue and on a national and global level. We need to be smart and leverage AI and all the possible platforms now that they can support us in gathering that knowledge and make actionable make actions, but also smart predictions. And that's why it's called capability intelligence. Thank you very much, James.
Thank
I
you.
would really love to have you again if you extend on this presentation. I know that you have other topics to discuss on, and we would like to see you in the chapter discuss and cover those topics about diversity and integration, and we would love to have you to cover the wider geographic area of the German chapter.
Sorry?
Chihuahua is to cover the wider area of the German chapter, not just Darmstadt. It will be our pleasure to pass forward the knowledge in this session with the rest of the chapter.
Thank you all. Thank you all, Peterson. Thank you, all of you, for your attention and for your attendance. Thank you all. And Maria, thank you for organizing this. And Thomas, I can't thank you enough. You remain a friend, you know, and the PMI chapter, the team, you guys have done an amazing work. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thomas had to drop from the conversation, but I will pass the greetings, but also he will see the recording himself. This is a good place for us to give the opportunity to the attendees to rate the event. Please feel free to scan the QR code or use the link that I'll give you just now. I'll drop it in the chat. And this will give us an idea of how we're performing as a group, but also give input for the speaker and the topic. Thank you very much for your time in doing that. Dr. James, there are people who have shared their LinkedIn. Feel free to go through the chat and you can connect with them. But also guys, this is an invitation
to everyone. Can I share my I think my LinkedIn is there. Please feel free to just add me on LinkedIn. I may not be able to fake it here. Just add me on LinkedIn by typing my name, James Mbakpuo, like you can see. I think Maria has it. She can share it with you. I can just put my name here. So, or you have my name, just type me there and add me on LinkedIn. I will add you and we take it up, we take it up from there.
Yes. Before Thank you. We will share the results from the survey on the thank you email for all the attendees who joined today's session, along with the PDF extension for this presentation and the video recording. These are the upcoming events that we have planned for July. Sealing the Value League, Integrated Strategy and Execution Mastery for Executives, PMOs, and Project Leaders by Fola Alabi from the US. And as always, apart from having 2 online webinars, we are organizing in-person roundtable in Darmstadt, which will be taking place on the 27th of July. For the August and ongoing events, please stay tuned on our website and we will update you or let you know on the event, most probably around the 16th of July. No, Corrado, we will share the last slide of this presentation is going to be the PDU, where if you stay with us, you'll get the opportunity to get it. If not, because you stayed most of the time, you'll be the one of the recipients of the thank you email that will include the PDU code.
Okay, that's fine.
And this is an invitation. The last slide is always an invitation for everyone who wants to join us and be part of something that is bigger than ourselves. We are giving our time to support the profession, the people who are working within the profession. We are 8 volunteers from 7 countries. Florian is driving on holding the steering wheel of this group. He's originally from France and he's operating in Darmstadt. We have Mohammed from Afghanistan, also from located in Darmstadt. We have Tufik from Lebanon. Oya, who is originally from North Macedonia, she's operating from Stuttgart. Almira from Montenegro, operating from Botelborn. Myself from North Macedonia, operating from Brussels currently. Laura is our latest member. She was also a speaker for local group Darmstadt. She's coming from Spain. She's operating from Gebi, sorry for butchering the name. And Thomas Valenta, he's the only German in the group who is operating from Bad Kreuznach. We're very happy to have this group because we are representation of the diversity in the chapter, and we would like to welcome you to support this effort that we are doing, and perhaps even exploring variety and creating more programs than just webinars and roundtables. And that's why we need fresh perspectives and fresh experiences. Feel free to reach out to us via email or look on the volunteering portal where you will find open opportunities to join the chapter. And this is the PDU for today's presentation. Everyone who attended, they will take 1 PDU. And the reason why we are staying for 1 hour and a half is to provide you with more information, to inform you about the work we are doing within the chapter. And that is also some kind of a knowledge that you're getting to know that where your time and effort, but also the money you're paying for your membership are going for, and how we are not just, we are actually supporting the chapter and striving to support professionals. If no one has anything else to ask, final say to give, final comment. That might be the reason, Klaus, thank you for bringing this to our attention. That might be because it hasn't been approved yet. And I will check right away with you, because when we are claiming it, the platform has changed since recently. And it takes longer time for the people who are working on the platform from PMI Europe to review the request that we are submitting for the PDU and to approve it. And please try, perhaps if not today, in a couple of days or tomorrow. It shouldn't be taking that long. I want to give back to you 6 minutes if you have anything else to ask, and use the opportunity of our speaker on the call. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, for making time and purposeful time to be here and invest in your growth, in learning new things, embracing challenging narratives and challenging presentations, challenging the status quo, like Dr. James did to us today. Think about how you're going to leverage the lessons learned that you're collecting from your projects and from your organization from now on. You will have as your support the PDF from the presentation, where you can always use it as a reference and go back to it and see how you can make actionable plans out of it and make capability intelligence rather than just silos of lessons learned. And feel free to reach out to Dr. James and get more insights and support from him because he's also an advisor, and he's working with organizations where he can support you on your way to building capability intelligence. Thank you very much for tonight, and hope to see you on the 16th of July on our next event. Thank you, Dr. James, again.
Thank you.
And everyone else on this call.
Thank you. Thank you
Have
all.
a wonderful evening ahead and wonderful weekend.
You too. Thank you for the organization. Thank
Dr. James, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't know. Well, but
Rudiger, yes, please apologize. We had created the PDU code just a couple of days ago. That was not. I hope I'm audible.
I don't know.
Yes, Rudiger, you're unmuted and you can join the conversation.
Okay, I just tried to claim the code and I'm getting the error message. I just pasted.
I think it's on my end. I do not. Yes, please. I think it was on my end.
Okay, so I can hear you now.
Apologies. Was I muted?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I know how to deal with the error message. Does it take a few days to get the?
I think yes. Please try again until the end of the week, or at least the day. It shouldn't take more than. I'm not exactly sure what is the workflow and how many days it takes for the person who reviews the request for the PDU. But it should be a couple of days. And so by the end of the week, you can retry again to claim the PDU. But rest assured, this is the right PDU and exists. It's just a matter of PMI Europe to approve it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rudiger. And thank you for your patience for that.